Yeah, g'day YouTubers, Spannerman again here with another video. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Please subscribe to the channel. Any comments, thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Yeah, g'day YouTubers, Spannerman again here with another video. Today we're just going to have a bit of a review on some of the aluminium oxide wheels, the CBN wheels and the diamond wheels and the brown oxide type wheels. In general, the aluminium oxide wheels are the cheapest wheels out there, and a lot of them don't have any information on the grit size. There's just no information on them, so sometimes it's pot luck. So I can only tell you about the ones that I've used and what I think about them and would I buy them again. Now, a lot of them are made in China, so a lot of times they may have a brand name on them, but they're made in China, so sometimes the quality is not the best. And they overheat the teeth and cause all sorts of problems. You might find out also that they're not balanced very well, meaning they've got a lot of side play and a lot of wheel wobble. So you've got to be very careful what you buy out there if you're going to spend good money on wheels that you want good results. So, number one wheel, we'll leave that to last. We'll leave that to last. Okay, let's talk about the Kinnick. Kinnick wheels, so this pink aluminium oxide wheel is from Kinnick, which is a Taiwanese company. Again, it doesn't tell you the grit size. Feeling it, it may be 80 grit. It may be 80, maybe 60. I can't tell. A little bit difficult to tell. But nonetheless, it actually works quite good, so I'm really happy with that. Molmab is another wheel out there all around the world. These aren't too bad. This feels around about 80 grit. So again, if you go a little bit too hard, you'll generate a few little blue spots. So that's not very good, but they're all like that. Worst wheel, unfortunately, I expected when I brought a Jolly Evo grinder, it came with 3 Tecumseh wheels, and I expected these to be very good. They actually turned out to be the worst. I just don't use them. I took them off after a couple of weeks because every chain that I was grinding was getting blue marks everywhere on it. So unfortunately, they were the worst. The wheel that's better than all of the rest of them is this one from Stihl. When I bought my Stihl USG grinder recently, it comes with this grey, whitish type stone. Not too sure. Be aluminium oxide, I guess. I don't know what it's impregnated with, but I don't think it's resin bonded. I don't know much about it. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you the grit size either. So, as I said, you don't get a lot of information about the wheels that you're buying. But the wheels that sort of really seem to win, are the winners, is the brown wheels. Now, unfortunately, I can't get them in 145 millimeters, which is the same as this Oregon type grinder. But these generate the least heat of all. And on one of this one here, this is the same one, it's an Azedo, and you'll find out it says it's 100 grit. Very, very fine, but generate less heat than all the rest. So the brown ones is the clear winner for me. But unfortunately, I can't get them in the 145 millimeter. Okay, so the other thing that we've got here, and we'll just sort of come over here so that you can see it, is a tungsten carbide chain. So tungsten carbide chains, you can't grind them with the pink wheels or the aluminium oxide wheels. You need a diamond wheel for that, and we've got one of those, and the diamond wheel that I'm using is this one here, 145 millimeter. It's probably about 4 millimeters in thickness, so yeah, maybe 4 and a bit. Anyway, that's the one that you use for this. For your standard chain, you can't use the diamond wheel, unfortunately, because diamond and steel like each other, and it will start to affect the wheel really badly. You'll have a lot of problems. You're going to have to go to a CBN wheel. like this. Now these type of CBN wheels are about 4 or 5 times dearer than the diamond, and they'll last you for a very long time. You don't need to dress them. They've already got that nice little radius shape in there, so you find a lot of shops use a CBN wheel. The only other thing I'll say about the pink aluminium oxide wheels, in industry they use a lot of liquid cooling for those type of wheels. So liquid cooling is not the ideal situation here. The only advice that I can give you, that if you want to continue using pink aluminium oxide wheels, is go very, very slow. And most of the time when I'm grinding, I'm using a very slow motion, which is bring down. The moment I contact the tooth, it's off, on, off, on, off, on, until we get to the bottom of the tooth. And you're only taking about 0.2 of a millimeter off a tooth every time. Do not attempt to try and take a half a millimeter off a tooth. You'll blue it. Now, when you do blue the tooth, you'll find out that it temporarily hardens it by about, or could be 4 or 5 thou. So you don't damage the tooth, you actually make it quite hard, and you make it almost impossible to file. So if that happens, just make sure that you regrind it, and you should be able to use a file back on it. I have seen severe cases where people are really heavy-handed with the wheel, and they can really damage the teeth because they turn it even hotter than blue. And you can damage you really can damage the metal if you sort of go to the extreme. But if you've got a slight little bit of blue, that's not going to be a major problem at all. Just avoid the excessive blueness and you'll have no problems at all. Even if I'm using the pink oxide wheels, because I will use them because I've got that many of them, I'm not going to throw them in the rubbish, and I've got about 8 grinders, so I'm not going to put a CBN wheel on every grinder that I've got. And CBN grinders are a CBN grinding wheel is almost $500 here in Australia, so very, very expensive, whereas the diamond wheel's about $100. So you're looking at about 5 times more expensive. So with all these wheels that I've got, I will use them. It just means that you need to go a little bit slower and just take your time, and you'll find out it'll grind well. So just to recap, all your pink aluminium oxide wheels, especially if they're in a higher grit around 100, they will generate a lot of heat. Do not use 100 grit on an aluminium oxide wheel unless you're prepared to go as slow as a snail. 80 grit would be the maximum I'd go, so either 60 or 80. If you go 60, it's a lot coarser. It can leave larger marks in it. But certainly on the brown oxide wheels that I've mentioned before, these are 100 grit. They run a lot cooler. Not too sure whether I don't think they're resin bonded, but yeah, whatever they're doing, they're different than the pink oxide, and they run a lot cooler. And all the brown ones all seem to be around 100 grit for some reason, every brown wheel that I've brought. It's just that I'm having trouble sourcing brown wheels. This 145 millimeter diameter ones are a little bit more harder to get hold of. I haven't been able to source them yet, but I haven't sort of done a big major search because I've probably got about a dozen pink wheels. And as I said, the clear winner was the steel one and the brown oxide wheel. So out of the aluminium oxide type wheels, the brown and the steel one, probably the brown one wins hands down, even over the steel. Why steel don't manufacture the brown ones, I don't know. But I can tell you from experience, and many other people that do use the brown will highly recommend them. So look, thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up. I hope that information helps. Bye for now.